Flosstube. Welcome back to Lala D Stitches. My name is Laura, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're new, welcome. I'm glad you found me. If you're an oldie but a goodie, I'm glad you're back. I think I say that every time, or something to that like, but it's true. It is true. Yeah, this is Flosstube number 21, which is a bit mind-blowing that we have that many. But okay, it's gonna take me just a second to get my brain into it. I have a new hairdo. It's been a few years since I've had my hair short, and I just was ready for something different. So I went in a couple days ago and I said, chop it off. Just chop it. and I am loving it. I feel free and light, and it feels so much healthier. I've been struggling with some hair loss near the front, and so this kind of contained that a little bit, and yeah, it's so much fun. So yes, that's all I have to say about that. I'm loving it. I'm glad I did it. Haircuts are fun. It's fun to feel fresh and new, and yeah. Anyways, so that was like the big news this week. Yesterday we went hiking. It was gorgeous. We're having kind of the last hurrahs of beautiful weather. As we transition into fall, we had some beautiful night rain a couple days ago, which just freshened the air and gave some new life to the kind of crunchy plants around us. And but this weekend, like yesterday and the next couple days, are supposed to be really beautiful, and then we have rain for a week, which I'm here for. I am ready. I'm ready for fall. I've put up my fall decorations. I am so tempted to put out my Halloween decorations because I see everybody else like diving into Halloween projects and stuff, and that's super fun, and I'm resisting. I have one more week. Maybe I'll make it a few more days. Maybe I'll make it the week. Who knows? But I put, beautiful colors and leaves and new quilts and pillows out, and it just feels cozy in my home, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this transition into fall, and I am so excited for rain and cooler weather, and I hope it gets really cooler so I can turn on the fireplace because it really pumps out the heat. But wouldn't that be cozy to stitch by the fire again? It'll happen. It might not happen for a few weeks still, but at some point it will. Okay, I'm going to try not to adjust too much on my chair because I discovered, and I think it's been happening for a while, but I became aware of it rather, that my chair's become a little bit squeaky. So we're going to try to keep the cheeks planted. Anyways, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't squeak you out. Okay, let's get into stitching. I don't have any more life updates. It's lovely. Life is good. I'm finally feeling healthy, like really healthy again after a long summer. And so like, I just can't complain. I'm grateful. So I'm glad you're here. Last video was a kind of combo anniversary / whip parade / extravaganza, all the things, because I'd been gone for a little minute, and it was fun. It was so fun to go through everything, and the royal I announced a giveaway, and I'm just gonna say at the start, I'm gonna do that in my next video. I was thinking I would do it this one, but I just kind of got the itch to do a video a bit sooner than I originally thought. So I will announce winners in the next video. So the start of October, in 2 weeks, I will announce those. So you still have some time if you haven't watched that one, or you're just kind of finding me and you want to go back and watch it and see the whip parade. It'll be super fun, and then you'll be able to get in on that. So it just gives people a little bit more time, and then I can get things out that first week of October and into your hot little hands. It'll be fun. But the comments have been really fun on that. And so thank you for commenting. I always enjoy it. People are so creative with the code words. I want to apologize. We did get a spammy bot something in the comments that had stolen my picture, and you know, you hear Flosstubers talk about it, and I always feel so bad, and we got we got, and so that was a real bummer for like 12 hours as people were messaging me, and I'm like, oh crap. Here we go. And I was trying to fix it, and it was late at night, and I just did not have the mental capacity to deal with it. So I kind of messaged the people that had messaged me up to that point and said, I'm working on it, I'll take care of it. And the next morning I got up and took care of it. And anyway, so thank you to those who made me aware of it. I'm so sorry if you were one of the people that got those comments. I will never do giveaways in the comments ever. I will never ask you to click on a link or tell you to go to a different site. If I ever link sites, they will be in the description box, and they will be strictly cross-stitch pattern related. And I'll mention it in the video, so you'll know to look there. But I will never do that in the comments. So if you see something like that, please ignore them. Just report them, delete them. It's not me. When I do giveaways, I do a random generator of the magic words, and then I will announce them in a video, and I will have you email me, which my email and my Instagram and my Buy Me a Coffee are all down again in that lower description box. So you will be reaching out to me, so you'll know you're getting the right person when you get that response, like, it's me. And yeah, anyway, so I'm sorry it happened. I mean, I apologize because of the inconvenience and the gooberiness of it all. It's not really anything I can control, but I definitely reported, deleted, blocked, did all the things I could, and we haven't had any more drama since then. So, business out of the way. I did ask a question in the last video. So I've got my notes down here. So I'm trying to be a bit more organized and get back into the groove of like a routine in my videos instead of just be like, blah, cross stitch, anyways, but I do a monthly theme for my projects. And I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's a fun thing, and it's kind of evolved over the last year. I used to have there's a whole thing. I talked about it in the last video. But I have a few months that aren't officially assigned yet. So May was one of those, and people gave me some good ideas for May. So I just thought I'd share those with you. One person said Mermaid May, which could be super fun. I like that idea a lot. I actually have a couple mermaids now, and whips. And so that could be a really fun one. I could totally make that happen. Mirabilia May, that is one I had actually considered because, again, I have quite a few whips, and that would be a really fun theme for May. I like it. Movies May, that would be really fun, though I feel like I would have to adjust Sci-Fi July, maybe do like a patriotic July instead of Sci-Fi July, because most of my movie related projects are already kind of claimed by that subgrouping, but it's a great idea. I love it. And it has me thinking, okay, what other fandom stitches could I find? I still don't have a good Lord of the Rings one. I mean, that's kind of like, that's got to happen at some point. I'm always on the lookout. There are some really pretty ones out there. A lot of the ones I really love are Lifetime projects. They're just giant. So I haven't invested in them yet, but Movies May, that could be really fun. And then Monogamous May. are you guys trying to kill me? Is it even possible to work on one project for 30 days? It's a good idea. I would totally get something done if I did that. I don't know. They're great ideas. So thanks for that, because that's been really fun. If you have any more, it's always fun to hear them, because you guys have good ideas. I like it. My brain, it does its thing, but it's good to do something different. Okay. Oh, that's the next thing I wanted to do. So a couple more minutes of talking. I'll keep it really short, but I realized that last video was my anniversary video, and I didn't really do an intro, like a little bit about me. And there's not a lot to share, but if you're new to my channel, I just want to, it's nice to know a little bit about the people you're sharing your time with. It's a kind of a vlog of our stitching life, and we get to know our floss tubers that we watch regularly, and that's really fun. So my name is Laura. I have been cross stitching I learned when I was little. I learned to do embroidery and then into cross stitch, before I was 10. And I did it, little projects here and there through my childhood and early teens. Like every year we got a cross stitch ornament kit. And so we would typically spend Christmas Day cross stitching and reading our new books and playing with Barbies or video games. They were lovely, lovely days. So I did little bits, but nothing major, nothing big. Then in my early 20s, I did it again for a little while. I found a couple projects that I wanted to do. I did what's her name? Paula Vaughn. There we go. I knew it would come eventually. Paula Vaughn, a couple dimensions kits. I taught my boyfriend at the time how to cross stitch, college things. And then I have worked at quilt shops since I was 16, so 20 years. And I was working at quilt shops, and I really got into quilting and knitting in a deeper way than, had carried through, again, my beginning years. And sorry, there's sirens outside. I hope that doesn't... I've got the window closed, so hopefully it doesn't get too loud for you. They do test runs up and down our road. I don't know if it's to clock response times or what, but we'll just see. It happens like once a week that they just run a number of emergency vehicles up and down our hill. So, But anyways, back on track. Then in my story of cross stitching, in about 2016, my health went in a big way, and I was down a lot, and I had my first tablet, and so I was in bed scrolling. I didn't have a TV in my bedroom, so I used my tablet, and I was scrolling, and I came across Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it completely ignited this joy for cross stitching again, and it's been happiness ever since. I just get deeper and deeper and deeper. I love it so much. I so enjoy it, and I started watching Flosstubes in about 2019. Pam and Steph Just Keep Stitching were my first channel. I had no idea what a floss tube was. I think I'd heard it mentioned a couple times at Acorns and Threads, and I was like, floss tube? What's that? That's a weird word. But I wasn't a big YouTube person either, so that is probably why I never even stumbled across anything. Anyway, so I found it and I started watching them and thoroughly enjoyed that for a few years. And then last year I got brave. And here I am. And it's been a wild ride. It's been so fun, and the community has been so welcoming, and I've made friends, and it's good. So my advice to you is, if you're new to cross stitching, keep going, because it's so much fun, and you'll only get more comfortable with it, and it's such an enjoyable hobby. And if you have been thinking about making a floss tube, but then you're having these thoughts, because this is what I did. Oh, there's already so many good floss tubers out there. Like, I'm just white noise in this river of goodness, and who wants to look at my stitching? My advice is just do it, because your people will find you, and it's such a joyful thing. It's really, I so enjoy it, and I've been flabbergasted and grateful that my channel has grown very well, but I never went into it. And even today, like when I'm filming, I'm not filming to get the views. I'm filming to share what I love, and I've tried to be very intentional about that and not get caught up in everything else that could come along with having a YouTube channel, right? And I so enjoy it. And so be brave, make your channel. I spent the last week quilting again, sewing and quilting, because I do quilting videos. I call them my quilting bee. And I like to watch Flosstube while I quilt. It's kind of a, there's always cross stitch in my life, even when I'm not cross stitching. And I've been looking for new floss tubes, because I have my favorites that I watch regularly. We all do, right? But there are so many new floss tubers out there, and they're delightful. And so I have a few shout outs to do at the end of the video, and a few new people that I have found, a couple that have found me and given me shout outs. Thank you, by the way. It's always I'm so funny about it. It always feels like superstars notice me. I mean, it could be your first floss tube, and if you mention my name, I'm like, oh my gosh, they know me. Anyways, so yeah, it's fun. I recommend doing it. Just jump in and enjoy the ride, because it's good. It's worth it. My throat's a little dry. One sec. Oh my goodness, sorry. Anyway, so now I have talked to you for 15 minutes, and let's get into cross stitch. Oh my goodness. But I wanted to do that because, not everybody goes back to the beginning videos where I do the actual introductions and my story and everything. And so I meant to do it last time, and then it got long and I got distracted. So, cross stitch. It's been about 2 weeks since we met last, and I've been busy. I've gotten a lot of good things done. I have started a few projects. I have pulled out old whips that are autumn themed, and yeah, it's been really fun. First thing I'm going to show you really quick, because I want to use them. I was going to save it for my quilting video, because technically it's both. It's a crossover project. I've made some project bags, but I need them for my projects. But I had requests. I'd mentioned them, and they're like, well, will you show your project bags when they're done? I was like, yeah, I'll show them. No prob, Bob. I can do that. So I'll just fly through them real quickly. I normally do my vinyl front ones, which I really like. I like to be able to see what's in the project. I like the contrast of like the panel and the other fabric, and this one I actually left the selvage on because it has these cute little pumpkins. So I have a number of these. I don't sell my bags. I have considered it, but it's, again, one of those white noise in a river of people already doing a great job. So I don't know. Right now I don't sell them. These are just for personal use. Also, I don't know that, I'm a good quilter, but I'm not it's different to say, here, this is a thing I made, buy it. I don't know. It just, I don't know. Anyways, here are my project bags. Apparently, I've missed you guys. I have missed you guys because I'm just rambling today. Project bags. Let's just show them to you. Anyways, why am I so scattered? Ugh. That was the first one. So I did these. I love this one. Oh, it's so pretty. I think I'm going to put my birthday start in this one. This one I didn't like until I got the binding on. I love this fabric. I've had it in my stash for 1,000 years. I bought it back when we were trying to have kids, and I thought, oh my goodness, this would be so cute in like a little boy's quilt, and then that went the way it did, and so it just loitered in my stash of fabric, and I finally decided it's cute, and I actually have a project in mind to put into this. It's not started yet. It's still a kit, but new year, new start maybe. Anyways, this was just so solid, and I knew it matched, like it was good. And then like I was sewing the zipper in, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's McDonald's. That's all I could think, this primary colors. But then I got the binding on it. I was like, oh, it's cute. It'll work. This one I love. I often will buy fat quarters. Like if I see a fat quarter, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I would ever do with that, but I love it. Ladybugs. I will buy a fat quarter and maybe a coordinating fat quarter and say, okay, it's going to be a project bag. That way I can have the fabric I love, but it also has a purpose. I love the tiny check on this one. It's so fun. And these chickens are a hoot. I know I point it out every time I see them, but aren't they funny? They're so cute. It's like he's dancing. This one had a string on it. Oh, maybe it fell off. Tilda, so beautiful. And this one, you can tell, most of them I just do like a single diagonal line. This one needed the like crosshatch kind of plaid look. It felt so fall. So I went a bit extra on that one. Totally unnecessary, but I love this one. I used to have a project bag out of this fabric, which again, I bought a yard of and I hoard it because it's beautiful. And when I first got my sweet Grace, who just absolutely froze when I said her name. It was like, what'd you say? I don't know if she'll show herself. She's right down here. But my sweet girl came to us with a passel of problems. High anxiety. She had been abused. She had a very sad little first part of her life, from what we can tell. And BB. Here, I'll try to tip it down, see if you can see her. Can you see her little face? Hi, puppy. You're a good girl. Yeah, you're sitting on my project bags. Anyways, the first 2 weeks we had her were a disaster. They were disaster after disaster. I'll keep showing my bags as I talk. And like we were both working, and we had another dog. We had a black lab at the time. And so we thought, oh, she'll be fine. Like, she's got another friend. We had been told that she was housebroken and, that she was fine. All untrue. Oh, I love this one. And this one has, it's got like all the good things. Moons, unicorns, owls, cute little cuddly bears. Oh my goodness, so cute. Anyways, it was a rough transition. It was a rough start. We lost a couch. We lost iPads. We lost an entire bookshelf of books. We lost all of our DVDs. It was, every time I came home, it was chaos. And the day the couch died and the iPad died, which was only like day 2, by the way. we went out and got a crate for her because she could not control herself. She was just so anxious and she just destroyed everything. And so thankfully that's like 4.5 years ago. She's doing great. She's just turned into the light of my life. She's such a sweetheart. Still a little anxiety prone. The outdoors are scary and hard, but she's got a bit of a stranger danger thing. But she's come so far and we just love her to pieces. Anyways, that was a replacement bag because amongst the destruction was my basket of projects. Fortunately, I think only one actual project died, but all the bags were destroyed. Anyways, I tried making some non-vinyl front bags. I just used batting and they have cute insides, so that's ghosties inside. And a top zipper, and I mean, it's just like a little, it almost looks like an iPad sheath or something, a little case. But I think it'll be great for, I mean, they were really quick to do this way. This one has, you can't really see it, but it's sunflowers inside too. Santa Claus. These mugs are great. And it's the same inside. That one's the same. But with the green zipper, kind of fun. And last but not least, this beauty, another Tilda fabric, which I think is just stunning. She's so beautiful. And then beautiful floral inside. Oh, I've got a string. Great. Anyways, I learned some things with this. There are some things I would do differently. Some things I really like. It's kind of fun. Fun to try something new. Okay. So those are my project bags. It feels really good to get them done. I've had them cut out and stacked up for weeks and it feels good to have them done. Yeah, let's get in the cross stitch. Stargazer by Mirabilia. She is beautiful. I am stitching her on a 32 count mystery fabric. I always get asked what my fabric is. I am so sorry. I do not know. I bought it about 15 years ago, which was like, I was doing the math the other day when somebody asked, I was like, how long ago was that? Oh my gosh, that's a long time ago. I did not start her 15 years ago. I started her about, she was a mania start, I think in 2020, 2019, something like that. I wasn't keeping track. This has been more recent than I wrote that down. But I've been working on her a bit more, with a bit more focus over the last year. And so really I've done her bottom half in the last year in spurts. If you're new, you will learn very quickly that I juggle a lot of projects, and that's okay. I'm a process stitcher, which means I'm not necessarily stitching for a finish. I just enjoy stitching, and you know, I go after the season and the month and my mood and all. It's very changeable. So I have a big variety, and I really enjoy bouncing between things. I am getting excited to get a finish on her. This week I have just kind of filled in. I had a couple of spots I had missed. I'm going down my list of colors at this point and stitching to completion. I filled in a couple dark spots here, and now I'm starting to really fill in that little last kick of her skirt. And then we've got beads, which I do have her beads, and I've made some changes. So it'll be really exciting when we get there. I had been thinking, I'm just going to lay them gently on my project bags here. I had been thinking I might try to finish her this year, but I kind of have my plans for the rest of the year mostly charted out, and I'm not sure that a completion on that, like beads and all, is realistic. So, but I do see her being with us consistently for the next few months. And who knows? I'm pretty close. I mean, there's a lot of stitching to do still. Like, as I said, I've done it the last couple mornings, I've done some morning stitching, which I've heard of other stitchers doing and have always thought, oh, that's an interesting idea, especially where I'm not working right now. I have the time to do it in the morning, but I've just never made it happen. And the past couple mornings I've tried it, and it's kind of nice to just give it an hour in the morning, and then kind of while I'm drinking my coffee and I watch some Flosstube, and then I get up and do my thing and do my normal evening stitching as well. But so that could be a way I could make more progress on Stargazer, potentially, if that became a consistent habit. Anyways, this was a new start for my birthday, which was a couple weeks ago. I found out I share a birthday with Jordan, the tattooed stitcher. So happy birthday, Jordan. Belated, but you know, it's pretty much, I don't think everybody does this, but anymore, I kind of get a birthday month. Just because my family lives far away, so if they send something, it often doesn't show up before or on my birthday. It shows up in the weeks after my birthday, and so I kind of get this trickle of birthday wishes and gifts and stuff, and then I treat myself, and my husband's wonderful, and you know, I'm totally spoiled through September. Anyways, this is September Sapphire Fairy, which I think is just absolutely, she is so elegant. She's so beautiful. I love the colors in her skirt and the details, and then the little butterflies. Anyways, beautiful. And this is my start. And I'll tell you what, this is my piece. It was a scrap. I picked it out and started stitching, and as I came up, I was like, is this gonna be enough fabric? I mean, I know I did the math, but now I'm nervous. And it is. I did the math again today just to reassure myself. But it will be, it's not a huge margin. I think I've got like just around 2 inches, which I do on a lot of projects. I tend to be stingy with my margins for the most part, but my extra fabric. But it's already beautiful. This is her waistline and coming up into the shoulder of her dress and dropping down into her skirt. And I love this fabric. It is Seraphim linen, 32 count. It's called Witching Hour. It's such neat fabric. And she'll be really pretty on it. All right. Next one was also a birthday start. And I say birthday start because these were planned as birthday starts. I actually didn't stitch in September until like a week into the month. Things were just busy. This is Lavender, and she is lovely. I'm stitching her on a Belfast linen, 32 count lilac, and that's how far I got. It's not a big start, but I started stitching her, and then I was looking at her colors. I was like, you know, she really has a very spring vibe, especially like the pictures don't do credit. Those blues are very periwinkle, sky blues blended together, and the yellow of her wings, and it's just a very fresh palette in person. So I've decided I would get a good start onto her. I think I put 2 or 3 lengths in, and then I'm going to keep going on Sapphire Fairy and put Lavender away until spring, and she'll be a wonderful smaller spring Mirabilia to pull out. And you know, if the stars align, potentially, I'm fairly confident I can get Lavender done before my birthday next year. I usually try to finish my birthday stitch within the 365 days. And I did my last 2 actually. The last 2 years I was able to get finishes, not fully finished, but finishes. And so I think I'd like to make the goal of getting Lavender done. I'm fairly confident I can do that because she's small. I think she'll go really fast. There's not a lot of confetti in her. She's pretty blocked, the colors, so I think it'll stitch really fast. But Sapphire is a bit bigger, so we'll just see. We'll see how she goes. I'm not going to make any promises or not. This was a birthday kit for either Christmas or my birthday last year. I got both my Christmas and my birthday present from my mom on the same day, so I don't know which was which. But it was a gift from my mom. It's called Cross Stitch Kit. I've been calling this my Curious Owl though, because it looks like it's like, what is that? So cute. I switched out my fabric. It came with a 14 count Aida, and it was really stiff. I'm gonna actually over dye it myself and see if it softens up in the dyeing process. But I replaced it with this linen, which I believe is a 32 count. Picture this plus Arctic. I don't have it written down right here, but I think that's what it is. I know it's a Picture This Plus. I know it's 32 count because it's a little bit smaller. We ran into a bit of a glue blah blah. I miscounted this part of his face when I was first putting it in and had to pull it all out, which was, it's always a bummer. It wasn't something I could really fudge because this is, I don't know if you can see, but it is very confetti. It's very blendy, which is so satisfying when you get it in right. Yeah, I love this. I am excited to keep working on this through the fall. Maybe not as much in October, but definitely, I'd like to put another day into it this month and then pull it out again in November and get some more good stitching into it because I think it's beautiful and really sweet. Okay, my card. Next one, I pulled out my Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, which had a bit of a sad tale. I had purchased fabric and miscalculated in the store and it was not long enough. And so I bought it a few years ago and then it went on a perma freeze because I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't have money to buy more fabric but I loved the color of my fabric and la 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 la. Anyways, I finally pulled it out again last year and decided, as so many stitchers have done, and it's so funny because since I decided this, I see that people doing this all the time. But it's funny because I hadn't seen anybody do it until after I decided to do it. So I'm taking out these 2 blocks because they are very Halloween. And other stitchers that I've watched have put in other blocks to fit. One of my goals with pulling it out was to be able to use the same fabric. So I actually need it to be shorter. So I'm just eliminating those completely. And I was shortening it. And once I got started on that process, I was like, well, what are my favorite blocks? What else, like, if I were to reimagine this, how would it be? And I wound up cutting it down to 6. So I'm doing the top banner, and then I'm doing these 6 blocks in this order. And they always provide this awesome picture of all of the blocks close up. And so I just made a copy of that and played arts and crafts and picked my favorite blocks. So that's what mine will be. And I'm still up on the top banner because I'm slow. But there's a lot of stitching in these. It's not even just that I'm slow. I am slow, but there's a lot of stitching. That corn is gorgeous, and I had that in last year, but woof. It probably has 7 colors in it. It's crazy. It calls for, I think it's MPI silks, or they usually do MPI silks, or DMC. They always do a nice DMC conversion. I am doing my own over-dyed conversion, just from Stash, and so these are my colors. And literally when I started this, I realize now that I don't have my tablet in here for my befores and afters. So I'll just have to tell you. But I had the corn and the outline, the black. And that's all I had. And this one little leaf, I think. And that's all I had done. So I have put in my 2 ravens and the 3 pumpkins, everything there. So I got a lot done. This 3-day chunk thing, I have started choosing my projects for the month and doing 3 days, roughly 3 days on each project. And I'm liking that. I'm really liking that. I'm getting really good progress on things. It's very satisfying. At least when you don't squirrel into your stash because you've been watching too much Flosstube and you want to stitch Halloween-y autumn things too. So, like this one, Sleepy Hollow by Hello from Liz Matthews. I love it, and I started it last year. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Belfast linen. The color is smoky white, and it's actually a printed linen. I have about half of this done, and when I stitched this month, I went in and added black accents. So I added our little spider there, his back stitching there, the spider web. I did the cat and filled in the black accents on all of the owls, which was really fun. It gave everything a lot more pop. Kind of, you know, it's filling in the image. It's so fun. I love these like melting bats. They're so cute. They're so cute. I am excited to keep working on this one. It's definitely going to stay in the rotation at this point. Super fun. It's one of these stitches that it's not hard, but it's really engaging. The colors are satisfying. I did change the color of the grass now that I think about it. Everything else is called for, but the color of the grass was a really like brown green, and I wanted a bit more olive tone. So I swapped it out, and I didn't write down which one it is. I'll put it in the box below. I'm going to make a note of that, because I always say, oh, I'll put it in the box, and then I forget. I forget. If I don't make notes, I have a mind like a steel sieve. Okay, Sleepy Hollow, add green sub in notes. Okay, it will be there. Yeah, that one was really fun to pull out. It was totally not planned, but a few of these projects were not planned. Filipina, Gaia, the earth goddess, who is absolutely stunning. I was so excited to work on her, and then I pulled her out, and I don't know, she's so beautiful. I want to work on her, but then I wasn't vibing with it, I guess is the way to put it. This is where I am. I filled in like from there down on that lighter yellow, and then came into this side of her skirt and filled in this medium green. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's on this spectacular fabric, which I'm pretty sure is called like Stunning or something like that. I don't know where her card is. Well, fiddlesticks, you know. Oh, you know, it might be on the fabric. Fortnite Fabrics, 32 count, mind-blowing. It's so gorgeous. It's really, really beautiful. But I just wasn't feeling it. So I stitched on her for one night, and then I was like, maybe I'm just not feeling it this year. And that could change. But right now, she's low on the priority list, unfortunately. That's okay, because we've got lots of other fun things to do. Oh my goodness, this cute little owl, another gift from my mom. It was a kit, BEH umbrella for owl. So cute. Another curious little owl. And that mushroom, love it, love it, love it. I started it last year. I don't know where its little card went either. You know, whatever. Best laid plans. This is where I am. And when I picked this up, I pretty much had like that chunk done. So I've added in the beginnings of his little skinny legs and this, and then all of the mushroom. And when I did it last year, I was like, oh yeah, this totally feels, you know, kind of autumnal. You know, you've got these yellowing leaves and berries, and it's so sweet. And as soon as I got into these like purples and pinks, I'm like, no, it's a spring owl. I've changed my mind. So this one will go back into cold storage until springtime, and I'll pull it back out again, and we'll start adding those reds and gorgeous colors up in the mushrooms, the purples and everything. So cute. And then I'll keep going on my curious owl, because it definitely is an autumn owl. But it was really fun to work on that one. I felt really good about my progress there. Okay. And I was going to do these in order, but I think I'm going to swap this out. Is my tablet in here at all? Oh, it is. Okay. I'm going to see if I can open this up really quick just so you can see the full image. It's, this was my last planned start for the last 2 weeks, and pictures. It is a new release, at least in print, from Tiny Modernist. It was I originally saw it on the Seattle Stitcher, and it was in the Cross Stitcher magazine. It's called Ode to Autumn, and it's so cute. And I dyed a piece of Aida for this after seeing Megan dye hers, and I was very inspired. And so I went and I bought the digital copy of the magazine and dyed by fabric, and that was earlier this spring, I think it was. But I wasn't ready to start it because I'm a seasonal stitcher, pretty much. Anyways, long story long. They've released it now, and they've restitched it. So when you see on Tiny Modernist or on Etsy or wherever you shop your patterns, they restitched it onto a light gray. And it's so funny because I wound up going for a more mottled gray in my dye. So kind of kismet there. Anyways, this is what I got done. I love it. I'm not very far, but it's so fun. And I'm missing one color green. I don't know how I'm out of 580 DMC, but I totally am. And that comes up into some corn stalks here, and then it's a much shorter distance to count over to a light pole, and I can go up into this house in the corner that has the big moon and the bat, and it's very October autumn kind of vibes. And so that'll be fun. That's kind of my stitching plan, the charted course. And until then, if I want to stitch until I get the 580, because I really don't want to count 40 stitches over and then wind up 6 months down the road when I pull this out again and I'm devastated because everything here is off by 3 stitches. It would be totally something I would do. So until I get 580, I will probably at least outline this little blue house that's down in this corner. So really fun, really cute. That little owl on the chimney. And I love there's 2 colors of gold in the tree, in these birch trees, and it's just lovely. So that's really fun. That was a really fun start. And then I got distracted. So I wanted to stitch something Halloween because everybody was showing Halloween stuff. People have been doing like their Halloween finish parades or Halloween pattern parades and all the Halloween, and it's so cute and so fun. And so I went digging through my whips because I was like, okay, if I'm going to do something spontaneous, I'm already starting a few projects this month. Let's not start anything again, but let's pull out a whip. If you were with me last year, you'll recognize this, which was also a woeful tale of sadness. And I got all of this green in, and then I had gone through the top with these little white details, and I had counted off of these 2 little dots in the corner to stitch my hoe. And that's as far as I got. And then I realized that my hoe was in the wrong spot. And I could not, it's so funny because long story short, I fixed it this week and it took like 20 minutes. It really wasn't as big a deal as I thought. But I guess I didn't have the mental space last year to think about it or to figure it out, because I remember being so disappointed and disheartened. Like, it completely stopped the progress. I didn't work on it again. I didn't fix the problem. Which I never do. If I run into a problem and I don't want to work on it anymore often, I will take out the problem and then put it away. So I don't come back to a problem when I want to pick it up again. But I didn't even do that. I was just sad. And I talked about it in my video, and you guys were so lovely, and you had these different ideas. And anyways, I was just a whiner, whatever. I wasn't a whiner. I had a lot going on. It was fine. But I fixed it. It wound up that this little line of lower stitches were actually relatively easy to find the end on, and I didn't have to pull any of this upper vine out at all. Which I think is probably what I was afraid of, that I would have to pull it back and basically pull all the white out, and then it would be a much bigger rip. I hate pulling out of dense stitching. You always wind up snagging something. But anyways, it's in correctly. And I even have my purple edge going in and the beginning of the echo stitching. And after that, after the purple is done, it's like 3 pumpkins and I've got to finish. So I just have this kind of sitting out next to my chair where I stitch, my couch, and at least for the last few days, like, I'll just pick it up because it's micro-sized. I think it's a 40 count. It might be 36 count. It's got to be 36 count. I wouldn't have done 2 over 2 on, I'm stitching. Oh, I haven't been saying that. I very often stitch 2 over 2 though, so you can pretty much count on that. Whatever count I said, it's probably 2 over 2. But I wouldn't do 2 over 2 on 40 count, so it's got to be a 36 count. But it's still tiny and it's dark, and I've got good lighting by my chair now. But anyway, sometimes I'll just pick it up and I'll throw in 10, 20 stitches. I'll be like, that's cute, and put it back down. And I'm making progress doing that. So, whatever games you have to play to trick your brain. And then to wrap it all up here, at least with what I stitched on, this one just kind of like took my breath away. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. So, my brain's gonna play a Civ moment again. New Hampshire stitcher. What is her name? Oh, sadness. Lauren? No. Anyway, New Hampshire stitcher. She's lovely. I love to watch her videos. And I also follow her on Instagram. So I was doom scrolling Instagram and one night, and she posted the Liz Matthews newest Patreon exclusive, and I was like, I think I need to be on Liz Matthews Patreon now, because you guys, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Anyways, so it's currently a Patreon exclusive. I am now a subscriber for at least the next few months. You know, maybe I'll love it and I'll keep it going longer, but at least for the next few months, I'll be part of her Patreon, and that'll be lovely. But I adore this. I love the details in the windows. There's more than one. I love the moths and the little spider webs, which gives it a little bit of a, like, I don't know, like spooky October vibe without it in any way being Halloween or even season specific necessarily. And she talks about that in the Patreon. She like does this little blog with it. And she's like, I didn't want it to have to be fall. I wanted it to be something that could be out all the time. And anyways, I love it. The color palette the color palette is absolutely scrumptious, and I did a lot of stitching on this because I was just excited. So I started this on Sunday and I've done most of the house. I actually ran out of, I think it's 823 is the house color. It's this deep black navy. It's so beautiful and I love it. I'm starting with the house because they're always the biggest, especially on this. They're just the biggest, most dense part of the stitching. But you know what? Who am I, you guys? And I'm going to say this multiple times through, I have some haul through that. Like, the winds are changing. I loved stitching this roof. Like, I've never been one, at least in the last year, to be like, I love stitching a house. Like, they're so awesome. I love how houses look, but I typically don't like stitching them. But this house is different. I have loved stitching this house. And frankly, even on my Ode to Autumn, I loved stitching that roof. Like, stranger danger. Like, who am I? Had a birthday and morphed into somebody new. I don't know. I'm okay. I'm riding the train. It's good. Okay. That's everything I stitched on, except for one. So I had planned on starting and did try to start, ooh, it's shiny, Arranging Mushrooms by Ink Circles. And I had hand dyed this awesome fabric. Can you see the stitching? Oh, it's very blendy. It's this kind of taupey brown. It's just a mushroom stem. It's not much because when I started it, I was so excited. I'm stitching this with Kelly from Pages and Stitches, and she said she's switched some of her colors and she's stitching on a different background and everything. And I was waiting for my colors to come in the mail because I didn't have any of them that were called for in the pattern. There they are. And they came. I was super excited. I was pumped. I wanted to start it. And I started stitching, and it's this brown right here, which doesn't look bad in a floss toss, right? Like, you can totally see it. And I used 2 threads. I don't know. It was originally a 14 count before I dyed it. I think it shrank a little bit in the wash. Not the wash, the dyeing, but the heat, the hot water. And, oh, it smells good. I tea dyed over it. Anyways, long story long, I just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep going with this color, if I need to pull that out and use 3 strands so that it has more bulk, if I need to switch the color to a lighter one, but then it runs the risk of really blending in with that soft yellow, and I think you'll lose a lot of the contrast. Not that there's a ton, but I mean, I don't know. It's in a bit of a quandary moment. So it's in timeout while I decide, while I make choices. Maybe I just need different fabric and I need to stitch something else on that one and and just do a restart. I mean, there's like 20 stitches in it. It's not a big deal at this point, but something I'm thinking about, and until I make decisions, I will not stitch any further on it. So, okay, now we've done everything I've stitched on. I looked at it down there. I was like, do I talk about it? Like, it's such a meh, kind of like moment in cross stitch, but you know, these are the real moments of cross stitch. That sounded like a soap opera. Okay, anyways. So my haul. I have some fun haul. And I have... Oh, golly. I have some fun haul. And I have one more 1, 2, 3 stitch order in transit. So I'll have something more to share with you. But New Hampshire Stitcher also started at the beginning of the, so you know, it's Sampler September. Everybody's doing these spectacular, gorgeous samplers, historical samplers and new samplers, and I'm so inspired and impressed by them. I mean, they're just gorgeous. I've not been a huge sampler stitcher, but I love them. I think they're beautiful. Anyways, so I think it's Lauren. Anyway, New Hampshire Stitcher, because I don't want to say her name wrong multiple times anymore if I'm remembering wrong. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. I'm really good with faces. Anyways, that totally derailed my brain. Oh, so she started a hashtag at the start of September, the BAP to school, BAP to school. And it's a big ass project. And the idea is you start, I mean, as I understand it, the idea is that you start this big giant project that you love and that you've wanted to start, but you've kind of like hesitated because it's a little bit big and overwhelming. And I want a BAP. I mean, I probably have one if I look hard enough in my, well, really, my biggest project in my whip stack, if you will, is my Consider the Lilies. But that is on perma hold right now because I started it on a 40 count and I was stitching it 2/2 and it is bulky. But I finished more than a page. So it's like this quandary of whether or not to completely start over or keep going. So it doesn't count. But I want one. And I love Hello from Liz Matthews deleted. More like delivered. She released the Vanity Sampler earlier. I think it was at Spring Market. So gorgeous. I've seen a lot of people working on it. Seattle Stitcher and oh my goodness, Museum Stitcher are both doing, is it Cam the Stitcher? I'm not going to remember everybody's names. But there's I think Rossi Flox Co. color conversion that they're doing. And that's going to be awesome. It's going to be really cool, really different. But I love the original. I don't have a picture of it. It hasn't, I bought a digital copy, a PDF off of the Hello from Liz Matthews Etsy store. And so I thought, okay, Vanity Sampler could be one because that's a big one. That's a big big project. But I'm not like sold on that being my BAP. Also, by the time I decide, it will be October and it's not like a back to school project at all. But I've been looking at big projects and they've been drawing my eye in more since I've been thinking about it as I've been watching Flosstubes. So I've been going back and watching Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, who I've watched a few of her quilty segments, but I hadn't really watched a lot of her full videos. Oh my goodness. I'm hooked. I'm going to be watching all of her videos at some point. And she had done a finish, I don't remember if it was this year or last year, of this. It is absolutely spectacular. Stacey Nash, I can't speak anymore. My tongue has stopped working. Stacey Nash, Primitives, Halloween at Hollyberry. I almost said Huckleberry. Hollyberry Farm. And It is so beautiful. I mean, it's Halloween. I'm going to open it up real quick to try to get the glare off. So if you haven't seen it, you can see, but it's like meant to be, because I had seen her finish this one, and then I think it was, is it Whips and Sips that had finished? It's so pretty. I mean, the witch with her cauldron and the little scaredy cat and the willow tree over here and that border. Oh my goodness. I love everything about it. And I have to do it on a 40 count because it's huge. But it also only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. So it's not like this huge, intensive, I don't know. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I'm really excited to find some fabric for it or dye some fabric for it and start that at some point. I don't know if I'll start it this year or if I'll wait till next year or if I'll start it and not get very far. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I love it. I think it's gorgeous. And I think Whips and Sips had just finished, I think it was them. I don't know. I've watched a lot of Flosstube this week. It's all blending together in joyful tornado of stitchy goodness. But there's multiple seasons of these, the Hollyberry Farm series, I guess it would be. And there's a winter, like Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. Oh, that one might make it into my collection in the next couple months too, because gorgeous, all stitched up. Like, go check them out. They're gorgeous. They're so, so beautiful, all stitched up. So, I mean, technically that's a really big project. That could be one. But I don't know that I want my BAP to be seasonal. So there's that. I want it to be a bit more neutral so that I can stitch on it through the year and make considerable and consistent progress. So in my shopping searching, I also you'll hear about this site, Hollis Hands Creates, all the time on Flosstube. People order from her all the time, and I never had. And I was like, okay, so I'll go check them out. And I found these adorable, oh my goodness, look at the owl. Oh, they're so cute. And I love that they're all stitched on different colors, which I want to stitch them all in different colors. It's so cute. And they would be so cute either all framed and like hanging in this little trio, or all in little pillows and in a little bowl next to the key bowl or something like that by my front door. They're just adorable. I love how long and skinny the moon is on that bottom one. They're just adorable. And this one says tea, like you could even hang it in the kitchen at Halloween time. I love it. Anyways, this is Pineberry Lane, Fancy, Blackett, and Little Fancies. So just little ones. And I mean, I feel like all I've actually finished this year are smalls. So I've got to keep some smalls in my life. But I thought those were super cute. And I love the primitive, vibe, and super fun. But also in her, I don't know why I said but, also in her shop, I saw this. Blackberry Designs come into my garden, and oh my goodness, I am so in love with this. It is so beautiful. And it is one of those symmetrical ones, so you're literally stitching the same thing on either side. It's got a big giant house, all the things that make roadblocks in my brain, but I think this is so, so beautiful. And it's big. How big is it? 245 by 253. So, it's a decent sized project, but I think it's just gorgeous. So that could be a BAP. This could be a BAP, or a vanity sampler could be a BAP. Got a few options. So that's roiling in my brain right now. Then I got the Cross Stitcher, Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is the current issue. I love this. I had seen it on Instagram and I thought this is one of the most beautiful autumn cross stitches. I love the, classic cross stitch designs have these beautiful, they're just charted with DMC, and so overdyed flosses create their own variegation, and you can kind of play with how that lays based on how you stitch it. But I love patterns that create the shaping and dimension and shadows with solid colors. They're interesting to stitch. They're very satisfying to see come to life. And like that it just spoke to me. And I love a good lantern. I have a couple little lanterns around my house at all different kinds of years. But then it also had, let's see if I can show this without showing chart, this gorgeous moth. And this cute little pumpkin with the little mice. Oh my gosh. And the designs in the pumpkin itself and the mushrooms. It's adorable. It's so cute. And any magazine that has 3 or more designs that I'm drawn to is worth it. So I grabbed that after I got my haircut this week. And I'm really excited. I haven't pulled any fabric. I would like to at least start this, but I might wait till November to do that. It's so gorgeous. And then my last bit of haul is I wanted a Halloween Mara. Oops, beads. Runaway beads. So I found this guy, and when this came in the mail, mirrors are always in, at least in my experience, they're in these beautiful, a mirror pattern when you see it, because they're always in this square, beautiful thing with like a real photograph and the chart info back there, and they've got the stickers so you know if it's new, if it's been opened. And when this came in the mail, I was like, did I buy like a forgery or something? Like, is this a real Mira? Yeah, it's a real Mira. I bought it off of 123 Stitch. It's just, a different package on it. But I think she's so cute, and it's like vintage Halloween. She's got a little trick-or-treat bag and the leaves and the wings on this. The picture's not going to do it justice because the colors are gorgeous in her wings. I will say it took, I must have floss tossed this on like 6 different fabrics before I found one I really was happy with. So these are the colors. It's charted in all overdyes, which is also unusual for a mirror. Usually she does DMCs, and then sometimes she'll throw in like a water lily silk or something like that as an accent color, but this is charted in overdyes. Anyways, so there's her colors, and the only one I substituted was Bejeweled because I didn't have it. It's in the wings, and I'm doing Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts Lagoon, which is very similar, a little bit more dynamic perhaps than Bejeweled, but a very similar look. I looked up the color and then chose from my stash to find a substitute for it because somehow I didn't order it when I ordered all the colors. Anyways, she'll be really fun to start. I'm going to start her in October, and I'm excited about that. It'll be fun to have a seasonal fancy lady. She's a small fancy lady, but she still counts. She's fancy. She's got like a mask and a dress and wings. Okay, that's my haul. That was really high. Okay, that's my haul. Let's see my notes. Plans. So I've got a couple more weeks. Well, we've got one more week of September. And as I mentioned before, I'm totally in this transition-y kind of like rebellion. I don't want to stitch what I have planned. So I might not. I might pull out a couple Halloween samplers and kind of call it Sampler September, but also it's my way of stitching Halloween stuff in September. So I have this frosted pumpkin stitchery that is so close to being finished. Like, I feel like if I really focused on this, it'll be done really quickly. So I might pull out that. And I mean, that counts as a sampler, right? It's got alphabet in it. I don't know. Does it have to have the full alphabet to count as a sampler? And then Jack's Bash, you've seen everywhere. I don't know why mine is so shiny. Oh, I do remember why mine is so shiny. It was stuck to the vinyl, that's always the complaint you hear about vinyl bags, is that patterns will stick to them, the pictures will, and that's true if they're sitting right up against them. So what I do is, after this happened, and I found that out for myself, I just don't put the picture in front. I put it in the back, and then I put my project, so I can see the stitching in the front. So I know what it is still. I can still see into it and see it, but then the ink doesn't stick to the vinyl. So that's my little trick for that, a little side note there. But Jack's Bash is so, so cute. And I started this in, 2019, maybe 2018. It's been around for a while, but I started it on 40 count, and I could not find again, it's an older one for me, so I don't have the information for it, but this is how far I am. So I've got a real solid start. I think last year when I pulled it out, I finished my border, which is boring as heck, but really pretty, little variegation in there, and nice to kind of define the space. But yeah, I've got a great start. It's a 40 count something, and I'm stitching 1/2 on this. And I'm sorry, my light is, I'm stitching in the morning because I've got a number of things to do today. I normally stitch a little bit later in the morning or in the afternoon, and I have better lighting, but you do it when you have the time. So I would, it'd be kind of fun this definitely counts as a sampler. It has the full alphabet. It would be really fun to pull that one out, potentially. Well, it's already pulled out, but to stitch on it. Oh my goodness. we're losing it here, people. Anyway, so I think my plans will kind of shift. I'll just stitch what feels good for the next week, and then kind of jump into more as soon as October hits. I mean, it's full steam ahead on my Halloween projects, and I've got some really fun. I'm going to start Halloween Quaker, which I dyed fabric for, and I've got a couple of other really fun starts. I think one of the cottage gardens, the bat. Why I had to pretend to be the bat there is beyond me. But anyways, the cottage garden samplings bat, I have kitted up, and so I've got some really fun starts, and I wanna jump into that. And I feel like I stop Halloween pretty hard after Halloween Day, so I may as well jump into it a few days to a week early. It's not going to hurt anything, because then in November, the holidays come so fast, and especially for seasonal stitchers. Like, this is why I tried earlier in the year to make room in my schedule to stitch out of season. And that was really fun. I did some Christmas stitching in July, and I feel like I did pull, it might have even been the Frosted Pumpkin sampler out earlier this year for a couple days. But I don't know, it's just not me. I really enjoy stitching in season. So I don't know. I do the same thing with my quilting. I just want to stitch on the projects that are the season. Anyways, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I've got ideas brewing. I've got some really fun starts for the next few months. And then I'm thinking, I have not committed to this in any way, so don't hold me to it. But I'm thinking about making next year more of a finishing year, potentially, like focusing on whips and maybe like, I mean, you've seen today, I had or 5 or 10 projects, 8 or 10 projects that I touched over the last 2 weeks. And I made good progress on them. But if I could not get bored, see, that's my thing. It's usually around 3 days. I'm kind of like, I'm really enjoying it, but I'm definitely like, my interest is waning. And so if I could find a way to stay interested for a whole week per project and just like do 4 projects a month and do something like that, I could make really good progress on stuff and potentially get some finishes. Like, or maybe I pick 12 projects from my whips and they become like a monthly focus project that kind of like my little hocus pocus just sits out, and I put a length or 2 of floss into it every time I stitch before moving on to that day's project. That could be a way to make consistent progress as well. So I don't know, I'm kind of twirling some ideas around, but seeing people, I'm not, like I said, I'm a process stitcher, and I just enjoy stitching what is making me happy that day. And but finishes feel good too, and especially as I've come into fall this month, I have some really cute projects, but I don't have very many. I finished a couple summer projects in the spring, fully finished, and they have been sitting out in a couple of places in my home through the summer, and that's been so nice. And when fall came, I took them down because they don't match everything else, and with the season transition, and I was a little sad that I didn't have autumn Halloween projects to kind of fill those spots. And you know, I made it work, I did other things, but I would really like next year, as the seasons come, to have at least something to put out. And I know that will happen gradually as things get finished, and like it's not like the end of the world, but I would like to get some finishes in. So I'm kind of trying to find a way to make it a fun thing and not a chore for the new year. Anyways, thinking ahead. If you've got brilliant ideas, share them, please. Okay, a couple shout outs real quick, and then I'll leave you for today. I was watching Stephanie from Fralla Knits, so Fralla Knits. She's a cross stitcher, a quilter, a knitter, and everything she does is beautiful. So I really enjoyed. She's a new Flosstuber. I think she's got 2 or 3 videos. I watched them all. They're delightful. I mean, just really enjoyable. She's a very comfortable person to spend digital time with. I really enjoyed them. So good job, Stephanie. Keep it up. I want to see more. Katie from So Tattered was new to me. I want to say she showed up in my like recommended videos. Hi, sweet puppy. And I really enjoyed her. I don't have any notes. I don't know why I don't. But other than that, she is a quilter as well. So if you enjoy the little quilting segments, she's both Katie and Stephanie will do their cross stitch at the beginning as like the main bulk, and then they move on to their other crafts. And they tell you when they're transitioning over. So if you don't like that, you can always just kind of bump off to something else, and that's great. But if you love them, I love to know who does quilting segments and knitting segments, because I quilt all the time and I am a seasonal knitter. I knit when it's cool. So I have a couple projects lined up for this winter, and I always find it inspiring, just like we do with our cross stitch, to see people creating beautiful things in other mediums. So Fralla Knits and So Tattered, those were both delightful. I I don't think they're new, but they were new to me. Kathy and Molly from Linens and Scraps, and they were delightful. I watched several of their videos while I was quilting this week, and I just thoroughly enjoyed watching them. They do beautiful work, and they have a really fun chemistry with each other and have clearly been friends for a long time. And yeah, they were really fun. So Linens and Scraps was really good. And then I've got a couple to watch, but oh yes, Cross Stitch the Globe. Allison and, oh heavens, I don't know. I feel so bad. They're brand new. They just released their second video, and one is a new stitcher and the other one's been stitching for a long time. But again, they're friends, and you can just tell that they've got a good camaraderie, and they were delightful to watch. And so keep it up, ladies. You're doing a wonderful job, and they're so sweet. I totally related. They talked about, oh, the insecurities of you know, you put yourself out there and will people like me? And you always hear about the community being so nice, but like, will we fit? And of course you fit. You're wonderful. Your stitching is great. And more than that, you know, like, everybody fits. There's a place for everybody. Your people will find you. So thank you for sharing your work. Keep sharing your work. And yeah, welcome. Welcome to Flosstube. It's so good. We're glad you're here. So check them out. I'll tag them below, and yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks. I think I'll do my next quilting video, my next quilting bee, next week, because I've got a couple more things I want to finish to share with you before we meet again. And then I'll be back with Flosstube in 2 weeks, where we will have winners for the giveaways. So anyways, I hope you have a lovely, lovely transition into October, that September finishes off excellently, that you're getting some cool weather if it's been hot, and yeah, that mostly that you're getting some good stitching in. Thank you for hanging out with me, my friends. I will see you soon. Happy stitching.